Is that good? That's good.
Guys, come down. Fan Friday.
Free Friday. Free.
Fan Friday.
Hey, James.
Dad, do you see the red light?
Hang on. I do now. Go ahead.
Are we live?
We are.
We're live. James Doyle here at the first Honda Indy press conference. We're going to be live today up until Sunday, so I want to make this quick live. To stay tuned for in a few minutes when the press conference is going to start. We're going to be live again. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
This is the first scheduled media event for the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto. Everybody good with that? That's what we're doing. Okay, now that everyone knows it, and we'll say it perfectly all weekend, yes, we have a new name this year. We want to recognize the tremendous support and contributions from the Ontario Honda dealers and all that they have done for this magnificent event over the years. I have some greetings to read before we go too much further. From the Honourable Neil Lumsden, Minister of Sport, Honourable Stan Cho, the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Gaming. Their greetings say, welcome to the 2024 Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto. For 36 years, this event has brought together racing fans from around the world, offering them a unique opportunity to enjoy the sport they love amidst the vibrant sights and sounds of summer in Toronto. This event also reinforces Ontario's reputation as a world-class destination for sporting events and significantly boosts local tourism. Our government is proud to support the 2024 Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto. Thank you to the organizing committee, the City of Toronto, all the enthusiastic supporters, staff and volunteers that make the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto a success and one of the highlights of summer in our province. We wish you an action-packed weekend. Best regards from the Honourable Neil Lumsden and the Honourable Stan Cho, Minister of Sport, Minister of Tourism, Culture and Gaming, respectively. We thank them for that. This is the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto. They are the highlight performers this weekend, but they are not the only performers this weekend. Some special notes, our Grand Marshals this weekend that will give the command to fire engines. The band members of Canadian rock royalty, the Tragically Hip, will be here. 10 races on track this weekend in a variety of disciplines. The USF 2000 Series, USF Pro 2000 Series, each have 2 races this weekend. The Sports Car Championship Canada returns for 2 races, plus once again we have combined Radical Cup Canada and Radical Cup North America for 3 races this weekend, 1 each day, including Free Fan Friday presented by the Ontario Honda Dealers. Free admission to the grounds again this year. We request that you make a donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Make-A-Wish has raised more than $1 million since this program's inception. We look forward to adding to that total significantly this year. We will introduce you to drivers and VIPs throughout this morning. I have a few questions that we'll pose. We have wireless microphones for questions that we will open up in just a couple of minutes, and they will remain for interviews, scrum style, and one-on-ones as best we can accommodate afterwards. Let's begin with our introductions of group number 1. The president of the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto, Jeff Atkinson. Good to see you, Jeff. Unfortunately, some of our other drivers and dignitaries have been held up in traffic and travel logistics, but we do have, from the USF 2000 Series, points leader Max Garcia. How are you, Max? Nice to see you.
Good.
And from the USF Pro 2000 Series, the championship leader, Lockie Hughes, as well. Good to see you here, Lockie. We appreciate it. Jeff, let's begin with you. What a crowd we had here a year ago. Where are we this year in terms of preparations? What can we look for this year? Many of the same attractions and features, I'm sure. Any surprises you have planned for us?
Yeah, we're expecting big things here this weekend. Obviously, we're excited to start with Fan Friday tomorrow. We encourage all who are coming down to make that voluntary donation in support of Make-A-Wish Canada. We've raised a lot of money, as Todd suggested. But, you know, we've been challenged this year with the City of Toronto to do our track build in a very condensed period. And, you know, we're excited to say and see how that all unfolds here over the next day. We have a lot of crew out there working right now to finish the job. But I think the fans will see a really action-packed weekend. We have a lot of new things happening in terms of our inside. You know, we had a lot of fan feedback last year that obviously us Canadians, we love being outside in the summer. We have a long winter, but in the summer, it does get hot. We need some more inside interaction. So those who are coming down to the Intercare Center here where we are today, we encourage them to enjoy the Ontario Honda Dealers Pit Stop. That's right next, adjacent to the NTT IndyCar Series paddock. And right next to that, we have a great fuel-up location. So great spot for families to go cool down, a lot of things to see, obviously next to the paddock, and a lot of exciting activations happening this weekend.
Mentioned that you had a tremendous crowd last year. Where are we tracking in terms of ticket sales and fan attendance this year?
Yeah, so we are tracking very well. So we're expecting a very similar crowd to what we saw last year. I don't look at the weather. I think we've been talking a lot about the weather here in Toronto the last week. I don't know if we want to talk about it anymore.
It's over. It's good for the rest of the weekend.
So
yes,
you
it's
are
good.
Confirming
Sure.
the weather's going to be good. So
Blame me. I'm fine.
If Todd says the weather's good, the crowd's going to be huge. So we're expecting a big crowd this weekend, and hopefully that weather does cooperate.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Let's speak now with Lockie Hughes. As mentioned, he is the championship leader. And we were just chatting quickly. You said you'd rather be leading the championship than chasing for the championship. And who wouldn't want to be out front, especially here?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, 4 races left of the season. Every point matters now, so to be leading it is a great position to be in. But no, I'm just super happy to be here in Toronto. I got stuck in traffic as well, so actually rented a bike to get here in time, and then ran the rest of the way. So it's cool just to be outside, like along the water there. It reminds me a little of back home in Australia. So yeah, just really nice people outdoors playing tennis. And there's Smarties here, so at that hotel we got Smarties, so I feel right at home.
Yeah, that's very nice. Now, I was reading as well that apparently chicken parm is one of your favorites. Have you scoped out a place to go yet this weekend?
No, so our chicken parm is different. So it's actually, we call it chicken parmy.
Okay.
So that's chicken parmigiana, which is like a pub classic back home. So different to what you guys call chicken parm here, which I believe has like spaghetti in it or something.
Well, it goes with it.
It
Yes.
goes with it, yeah.
On the
So
side.
back home, no.
Strictly the chicken.
It's chicken, cheese, chips, fries, and salad. It's the best meal you can have in a pub back home.
Did you really have a pet crocodile?
I did
Briefly?
illegally. I don't know if I can say that. But yeah, long story, but we ended up having a pet crocodile for a while, which wasn't the smartest move. Didn't really get along with my dog too well, so we had to get rid of it.
You still have the dog?
Still got the dog,
Okay,
yes.
Just checking.
He didn't eat him.
Lockie, thanks for coming. We appreciate it. Good luck this weekend. Let's speak now with Max Garcia. What a season it has been for you. 4 wins, 6 podiums, remarkably consistent. The goal, I presume, is keep it going this weekend.
Yeah, obviously it's been a great year so far, and we just want to keep it going right now. It's been really good so far, and so hopefully we can add to those wins this weekend.
You're getting towards the end of the season. Does your focus change a little bit? Do you think more championship, or is it strictly race by race? What's your approach?
A little bit of both. When I'm there, it's race by race, but the overall for the weekend is more championship view. But it's not going to change my racing at all if I focus on the championship. So
Still be just as aggressive as ever?
yeah, that's what you need to be, or else you'll get destroyed by the other guys. So you just got to stay that aggressive.
Yep. And now you didn't run the full season last year. It was sort of an age thing, I understand. But now, did having those races help you, obviously, last year into this year, just that learning experience?
Yeah, last year was a huge learning experience for me, and this year it's changed a lot, the way I approach all this racing. And last year was just a great learning experience for me to be in this position this year.
If you have questions for any of our panelists, throw your hand up in the air. We'll get you a wireless microphone as quickly as we can. So you guys haven't had the chance to do the track walk yet, because that'll come later this afternoon. But what have you seen so far? We'll start with you, Lockie. Tell us what you've seen so far besides the traffic, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really had a good look at the track yet, but I'd imagine it'd be pretty similar to what it was last year. I haven't heard any news of any bumps being removed or anything, so I'd expect for it to be basically like last year, but I'll be able to tell you in a couple of hours.
Fair enough. Max, any thoughts on approaching this weekend here in Toronto again this year? Do you still think about the concrete, or do you have to put that out of your mind?
You got to put that out of your mind until it starts raining. Hopefully it won't, but
No, I already said it's not raining this weekend.
All right, then we won't have to worry about it. So yeah, let's just forget about the concrete.
Very good. Again, do we have questions for any of our panelists just before we let them go? We're going to try and move everybody through quickly if we can, because we've got a lot of drivers here that we want to get to in the next little bit. No? Yes? Yeah. Steve does. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Hey, Jeff. You've obviously been doing this a long time, been at this venue a long time, a lot of changes at Exhibition Stadium coming. Where are you guys in the future negotiations to come back here, race in this area?
Yeah, no, we're excited to come back. We love Exhibition Place, and for us, if you think about a lot of these changes and improvements are what they are, improvements. We think they benefit the facility, benefit us at the facility, so we continue to discuss that, the long-term future, and our future is to be right here at Exhibition Place.
To the two drivers, obviously you guys are leading the championship. At what point do you start thinking about, oh geez, I'm moving to the next level? Is that started to enter your mind yet?
Yeah, well, I've been sort of thinking about it since the beginning of the year, trying to progress. Obviously, Indy Next is the next step. Obviously, the biggest thing in racing is the financial aspect, so there's quite a big prize on offer if you can win the championship, which guarantees you moving up. But, of course, just focus on winning the championship because that will mean I'm moving up.
Obviously, you always think about moving up and getting closer to IndyCar, but I won't really think about it until the last race in Portland when the championship's done. So,
Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, Tim Rainey, TSN. Question for Jeff. I mean, obviously we had a lot of bad weather here for the past few days, so I was just curious to know how the rain affected the state of the track and how has the weather changed, I guess, how you approach the preparations for getting things ready.
Yeah, Tim, thanks for the question. Obviously, the past week, we've had a lot of weather events here in Toronto. I think 3 of the 6 days, might be 3 of 7 now, with severe rain events, one pretty major this week. We're lucky and fortunate enough that we build the racetrack mostly at night, so a lot of the track preparations have not been impacted. You are probably going to see some of the stuff on the interior that we're still buttoning up, whether it be paint or signs or whatnot that we lost a few days on, but we are working around the clock and we expect to be ready tomorrow morning.
And just a final question, just about obviously the water that flooded Lakeshore. How long did it take for that to recede?
Yeah, so in terms of Lakeshore, it varies kind of item by item. One day it was 2 hours. The event on the other day here was a little bit more, but it looks to be about 2 hours in terms of a heavy rain. But we looked at basically a 100-year flood here this week, and so that's really a rainfall for us that we don't see a lot around here. I live a few blocks from this place. Pretty good idea of the weather patterns, and with the exception of what you saw this week, we typically don't get that kind of weather down here at Exhibition Place. We're very fortunate where you might see rain to the north of the city and it completely misses this part of downtown. I don't know if it's the lake, I'm not a weather person, but I can speculate it's probably the lake, and that's probably why we get a lot of sunny weather right here at Exhibition Place.
Thanks very much, Jeff. Really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
You're welcome.
Good. Any other questions for this first group before we'll release? No, here we go.
Jeff, we were just looking at how really cool that old Honda is, and it's exciting. It's right beside the paddock. That was a really great idea. Can you tell us more about that and what the Honda dealers are doing to let everyone in here to enjoy it on Friday?
Yeah, absolutely. So between Green Savory Toronto, which is the promotion company that runs the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy and the Ontario Honda Dealers Association, when we were cultivating the new entitlement partnership, we were talking about new ways that we can really improve fan experience. And for years we had an activation with Honda Canada outside, which was great. But one of the feedback comments that we had last year from fans was, can we get more stuff inside? So we were looking at, okay, how do we get people out of the Galleria behind us? For those who've come down, the Galleria has been quite full. The exhibit hall has a lot of room, and working with the IndyCar and Anderson Promotions, who runs the USF Championship Series, we all decided that we would push the paddock back a little bit. We'd open up that display inside, and that display will, accommodate a number of people to see that classic car, other great models of Honda cars sold at the dealerships around the province of Ontario. And just a lot of time and thought went into why we should do that. And then you talk about why the Ontario Honda dealers originally got involved with this event, and it was the Ontario Honda dealers free Fan Friday promotion with Make-A-Wish Canada, and being able to say that together with the Honda Canada Foundation, that we've raised $1 million or over $1 million at this point since 2010. I think that's something we're all very proud about, and I know when the fans and hopefully the future fans that come out tomorrow, they will hopefully tap their cards when they see the tip-tap machines when they come in and make a donation to Make-A-Wish Canada, and hopefully raise a lot more money for the Make-A-Wish Canada campaign.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. We're going to let Lockie and Max go. We'll release you guys and say good luck this weekend. They'll both be on track tomorrow morning with their first practice sessions. Appreciate your time, guys. Thanks very much. Have a great weekend. We'll bring up our next group of drivers. In the Sports Car Championship Canada and in the Radical Cup Canada, we'll have 4 drivers come up and join us. From SCCC, racing in the TCA class, is Robert Cipriani Detris. Running in the, come on up guys, please. There we go. Running in the TCR class is Richard Boak, and in the GT4 class is Justin DiBenedetto. And also, as mentioned in Racing Radical Cup, is Kenny Reedman, who is with us. Thank you guys for coming and joining us. Robert, let's start with you. A little bit of experience here in Toronto, but you raced Radicals, if I'm not mistaken, last year. What did you learn, and what will you take into this weekend's sports car race?
Yeah, the track's very bumpy. So going into the TCA, I'm expecting my back not to be as hurt. The Radical is a very harsh platform, but it helps me learn the track a little bit better. The first 2 races of the season, I've never been to CTMP or Calabogie, so that was a brand new learning experience. So I'm hoping that this will kind of be the turnaround of my season to where I can actually focus on the task at hand rather than learning an entire new track.
Learning a track is part of it. How have you had to adjust your driving style switching to sports cars?
It's a lot. Yeah, with the Radical, it's paddle shift, downforce, lightweight fiberglass. The BRZ is pretty much the opposite of that. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot of adapting. The Sanders Motorsport crew has been very helpful with that. Getting used to a heavier platform. H pattern shifting. So it's a lot, but I like to say that it's going pretty well. I'm adapting every single race, learning new things. At Calabogie last weekend, I had to learn how to drive the car for the first time in the wet. So every weekend we're learning, and hopefully as the season continues, we get better and better.
Thank you, Robert. Let's move next to Richard Boak in the TCR class. Want to reminisce about last year here in Toronto? You had a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, we've had some good luck here over the years.
Not just good luck. It was you had a very good race weekend here in Toronto. Tell me.
Yeah, this weekend's always super important for us. It's a hometown weekend, obviously, so I grew up just north of Toronto. So it means a lot to come here, and if we're so lucky to repeat as what we did last year, we'll be happy and back in the championship lead at the end of the weekend.
That's what I was just going to say, is the championship is very close, and I guess that's the focus, is do as well as you did last year and try to take that step.
Yeah, for sure. That's always the goal, but it's also concrete walls. Anything can happen. You got to finish, and we're going to take it one step at a time. We know the speed will be there, and just try and make it through corner 1 clean and let the rest do itself.
Thank you, Richard. Let's move to Justin DiBenedetto now. You've also raced here before, TCR. Tell me about the switch to the GT4.
Yeah, so obviously we're moving from front-wheel drive to a rear-wheel drive Porsche now, so it's going to be a bit different coming into this weekend. Obviously, trying to do as much testing as we can with the car. Just came off of the IMSA weekend last week, so feeling fresh still with the car. So yeah, excited to see how the car is on track tomorrow.
Obviously, you're going to have to adjust braking points, and you'll start to figure that out during the track walk, I guess. But how important is the practice going to be? Like first thing tomorrow, that's going to be your big learning lesson.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure out how the car handles, obviously with all the driver aids, the ABS, the traction control. But we know it does interfere here with the bumps as well. So yeah, taking as much as we can tomorrow. Then we got 20 or 30 minute practice sessions, so not very much time to figure it out. So we're go from the get-go here.
If you have questions for, oh, sorry, I forgot Kenny, I didn't see you down there. Let's ask Kenny, who was also here a year ago. What did you learn last year that will help you this year?
I just learned that I really like street courses. It's a lot of fun. That's something that we never got to do on a superbike because I never had a chance to go to Macau or Isle of Man or any of the other smaller races in Northern Ireland. But yeah, just being in a car, getting to do street races, I loved it and excited to get back out there.
So how did the large field last year and what's I believe is 39 cars this year, how do you think about that? Do you approach that in a certain way? What's your mindset?
Yeah, of course you have to think about that when you're out there. You know, the track's going to be really busy, qualifying's going to be really important, but I'm just going to go out there, put my head down, and hopefully it all works out.
If you have questions for any of this group of drivers, raise your hand. We'll get you a wireless microphone. While we have a second, Justin, I want to get you to mention too that you have a fundraising and information project going this weekend with iChallenge Diabetes. I want to give you a chance to mention that.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so we're going to be working with iChallenge Diabetes this weekend alongside one of our partners, Insujet. This weekend we're going to be having around 9,200 kids that are living with type 1 diabetes come by to the paddock. So they're going to be coming all around. We're going to show them the inner workings of our race team with Di Benedetto Racing and Bestline. They're going to come around. We also donated the roof of the car as well. So we have the ICD logo along with names of the families and kids as well. So very, very excited and very proud to represent everyone this weekend. And yeah, to have them out as well is extra special as well here.
Appreciate that. Good for you. Questions for any of our panelists here, whether it's Richard, Justin, Robert, Kenny Reedman down at the end. Oh, quick and efficient. I asked all the right questions. Is that what we're saying? All right. Guys, we're going to get you, we're going to let you off easy. Short and sweet? All right. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Richard Boak, Justin Di Benedetto, Robert, Kenny, thank you. We will call up our IndyCar drivers and IndyCar representatives next, if we could, please. I don't think everybody's been able to make it. I know Nolan Siegel was delayed, and we'll see who has been able to make. Oh, because I just saw him come in, and I know he was delayed. Matt Clark from Milton, Ontario. We'll recognize him. Mac, you know what? I'm going to bring you up for a quick second, just because.
Now I'm in trouble.
No.
Where do you want me?
Anywhere you like.
Oh no, inside the big boss. I didn't see it.
Matt Clark racing in USF Pro 2000. You were delayed because you were stuck in traffic. But
DVP traffic.
Yeah, well, that happened. So you finally got to race here in Toronto in your hometown race last year. What did you learn from it? What do you expect this year? Because I know you have another large group that will be here to experience the weekend and to cheer you on, of course.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have another big entourage here this weekend, so it's always lots of fun racing in the hometown. We did well last year. You know, we have a lot of positives to build on. We didn't get the results we wanted, but definitely got comfortable up against those walls on the streets of Toronto.
It's a tricky thing, isn't it, with that concrete surrounding you? And did it provide a little support, but also pressure last year with all those people here for you?
I think anyone that says that they don't feel pressure at their home Grand Prix is just straight up lying. There's definitely a little bit on you as a driver, but you can lean on them as well, right? You have lots of friends, family, supporters around you to lean on, and they'll give you support when you need it.
All right. If you have questions for Mac, we'll sneak them in here quickly. Okay, let's get them in for James.
Good afternoon, sir. Something that was pretty cool that I remember talking to you a little bit about last year was that how everything for your racing career is really possible is the family around you. And something that's cool is that I first came to this racetrack when I was like 9 years old, and that was what it was for me. It's you know, for people that are on the track and off the track, it's about their families and the people around them. So how important, and I guess I just want to hear and get your opinion on this and your take on this, but how important do you think it is for families to be around the people, for both fans and racers?
I think it's essential. I love that question because, I mean, the only reason why I'm involved in racing at all is my family. It comes from both sides. You know, I have grandparents on the Clark side and the Fraser side that raced. So, I mean, it comes all the way down to the bloodline. And my dad was racing when I was younger, and that's how I caught the bug. He took me to the track for the first time. I sucked at soccer, sucked at baseball. I tried racing, and I didn't suck at it. So I fell in love with it when I was young, you know, through the family passion.
Thanks for the question. Thanks, Mac. Thanks for jumping in here.
Thank you.
We'll squeeze you in. We appreciate it. He'll be racing in USF Pro 2000 this weekend. All right, let's get to our final group of drivers and dignitaries. Jeff, of course, remains with us, and we also welcome the president of IndyCar here with us. Jay Fry is joining us. The 2020 Rookie of the Year in his 5th season, the NTT IndyCar Series, driver for Ed Carpenter Racing. Rinus VK is here with us. From Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan, he returned to the series full-time this year. Pietro Fittipaldi. And last year's winner here in Toronto, his first ever victory in the NTT IndyCar Series from Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing, is Christian Lundgaard. Guys, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you. We have, again, we'll have wireless microphones available for questions from the audience. We'll kind of go down the line and ask one or two of each of our drivers and dignitaries. And Jay, let's start with you, because what a season it has been for the NTT IndyCar Series. You've dealt with a slightly compressed schedule at times. It's been a challenge, but it has provided us with another season of great racing. And you have also introduced the hybrid this year to IndyCar.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, Mid-Ohio was our hybrid launch. It's been very successful, so we've hit 3 races to date, Mid-Ohio, 2 at Iowa, with the new hybrid technology that we have in the cars. I think these guys would be able to answer questions about how it's going better. But from our perspective, it's been pretty flawless, and to be able to introduce something like that in the middle of the season is kind of unusual. So, so far so good.
Kind of unusual, but it's also kind of presented an opportunity in that you started with the road course at Mid-Ohio, you've done the ovals, and now we get the first street course test for the hybrid as well here in Toronto.
Yeah, so I guess we'll check every box except for the super speedway. But by the time the season ends, yeah, it's been a unique experience. The system is very light. It fits in the bell housing. It's got a lot of power. The deployment's about 4 seconds. It takes about 4 seconds to recharge it again too. So it's got a lot of again, a lot of tools. We're trying to give the drivers more tools. So again, they'll be able to tell you how they're using the tool. And I think they're obviously getting better every week at it too. You know, it'll kind of evolve. A couple years ago when we put the aero screen on, it added some weight to the car. And I think it took some time to get used to that. It's kind of taking some time to get used to the extra weight in the car now. But it's going to be an exciting weekend.
Thank you, Jay. We appreciate it. Rinus, let's move to you, who had a pretty good start to the season in St. Petersburg on a street course. I suspect you'd like to duplicate some of that success and maybe do a little better here.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I've always loved Toronto. I love racing here. I mean, my first time here was 2017 in USF 2000, so been here for a while, and it's always been nice. And I mean, yeah, it's a really cool street course, especially now with the hybrid. We have to adjust a little bit with the little time we get with that extra weight and seeing what is the most efficient use of it. But no, it's a great place, and yeah, I mean, it's the most fun when you're leading out here. So
it's always the most fun when you're leading, isn't it? But you've had a chance to, as you mentioned, race here in Toronto a few times going back years. Have you seen, even though the circuit is the same, it changes and evolves a little bit each year, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, that's what you get with walls that get put there every year again. So it is a street course race, which makes the track walk we get later today a bit more important. So I think every driver will be out there and spotting, you know, sewers and stuff we have to find out. And you know, last year we get surprised with a few more bumps, and I think it'll be similar again this year.
Thank you, Rinus. Again, we'll have the wireless microphones available for questions for all of our drivers and everyone. Pietro, let's move to you now. You also had some good results on street circuits. How has it been acclimating to RLL in a full season campaign this year?
Yeah, it's been amazing to have this opportunity to race in IndyCar full time. It's something I've been wanting to do forever, really. Since I came to the series in 2018, I've always been trying to come back and do it properly, you know, as a full-time driver. And I'm getting that opportunity this year. And yeah, the previous street circuit races, we finished 13th at St. Pete, and Long Beach was a little bit tough for us as a team, but Detroit was better. The car was good there. We're, you know, fighting for the top 10, ended up 13th at the end. So I hope here at Toronto we'll be able to get in the top 10. I think that's definitely the goal, and it's a new track for me. But from what I see and, you know, Christian's success last year with Team RLL, it's going to be exciting. I think we've prepared a lot for this race, so looking forward to getting out on track tomorrow.
How have you found the use of the hybrid in the last couple of events?
Yeah, the hybrid is it's interesting. I think definitely shakes things up for the team and the drivers. There's more you need to do in the cockpit. It was interesting to see the differences between Mid Ohio and Iowa in terms of how the teams can regen the hybrid unit and then how much you're deploying. I think definitely at Iowa, out of basically every corner you're deploying, and in the race it's a lot of work for the driver. And I think it makes it cool in a way that it's easier to make mistakes if you don't click the button and don't deploy. And I think the way you regen as well can change the balance of the car. So it'll be interesting to see now on a street circuit how it affects it, how it affects the balance, how it affects the braking zone, and what you can do with the tools to optimize your strategy and your race car.
Thank you, Pietro. Christian Lundgaard, 1 year later, how do you feel reflecting back on the win here in Toronto?
It's actually 1 year and 2 days today.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the 16th of July. No, it feels good being back. I was traveling back to Europe in November last year, and I booked a flight that flew through Toronto, and I had a 13-hour layover here, and I walked the track just to see what it looked like without the concrete walls. And I was dumb enough to do it the reverse. I didn't do it the actual way, but it was cool being back, and I didn't get to really celebrate it when I was here because I was pulled out of the press conference to fly back to Indy. So I got to celebrate it on Monday. So when I came back here in November, I soaked it all in.
Do you have any wagers about shaving anything for this year's race? No body parts will get shaved other than the mustache? Because that was the pit lane celebration last year. Is that you promised when the win came it was coming off?
Yeah, I think I'm just happy that it's gone. Really, there's no stupid bets this year. I think I had enough of that already. I got to spend 7
I thought you
months.
said a Brazilian wax or something.
No. No.
Okay.
Not going to elaborate on that.
All right, so it's just refocus, have hopefully the same kind of success that you had this weekend. There were some tough, difficult races early in the season, but you seem to be finding your way at times throughout the year.
Yeah, I think honestly this year we've had a lot more performance and potential than what the paper really shows. There's been a lot of race weekends where we've basically been fast through both practices. We've qualified relatively well, but not really got anything out of it in the race for whatever reason. If it's us taking a high risk, low reward, and being on the wrong side of that, I think we've had that quite a few times this year. And ultimately, I think the car is fast enough to be fighting for podiums every weekend. We struggle on the ovals. I think we had a better 500 this year than we've had in the past. But again, Toronto last year was a weekend where I don't think we expected to win it, and we went out and we basically dominated the weekend. But with the hybrid being implemented now, we've had a road course, we've had a short oval coming here, the first street circuit. I think the two drivers on my right will also vouch for me, saying that the physicality this weekend is going to be tough. But again, the track Friday is nothing like it is on Sunday, so I think Sunday we're all going to be fighting for our lives and having fun out there.
Questions for any of our drivers, or Jay Fry, the president of IndyCar as well. We'll start right down here in the corner with Steve. Go ahead.
For the drivers, obviously we're at a street course with the hybrid, and you're going to be able to start the car hopefully when if you have to stop on track. Do you think that'll make a little more practice time, a little bit better in the race where there's not so many yellow flags?
Yeah, I mean, I hope the yellow flags aren't going to be more than they were last year or less. I think last year we had a big one in the beginning of the race, but I think it's going to help all of us. Really, it's a tool. If we are in the situation of stalling without any damage, being able to restart the car is just a big benefit. You're back on. You might even stay on the lead lap, which I think is what we're all hoping for, and it's going to help the clean up as well. So hopefully there will be less yellow laps.
Anyone else want to weigh in on that? Go ahead.
During practice, maybe less red flags too, some more practice time for that.
I think for sure that helps a lot. You know, I think if we can avoid getting red flags, everybody going in back to the pits to restart a car. The issue with the street circuit sometimes is the runoff is very tight, so you try to wheel spin and try to do like a 180, but sometimes you're not able to, then you end up stalling. So if we can avoid that, for sure it helps the continuity of the sessions.
Yeah, I totally agree, and also I feel like there's often an issue with track blockages in turn 1 at the start, so I feel like half of the victims are stalled cars there, so if they can get going, you know, that takes some risk away from drivers.
Next, go ahead.
Yes, my question is for Jay Fry. Do you see a lot more women behind the scenes and also in the audience? How's that looking so far?
Oh, I think it's been amazing if you look up and down our pit road, especially on the teams. There's a lot of race engineers that are female now. There's a lot of participants that are female. We had a female, I guess it was last year, was the first tire changer on an Indy 500 winning car, which is pretty spectacular, right? So I think it's something that's very important. It's something it's really taken off the last few years, and you can see it in they're not just here, they're actually in very impactful and very important jobs and doing great jobs. So it's been amazing. One thing I got to thank him too, before we get into something else. So we got some pictures this week about this little bit of rain you guys had. I mean, we're panicking, what's going on with the place. So they've done a spectacular job. Jeff, Kim, Kevin, everybody to get it to the condition it's in right now. And again, by tomorrow we'll be ready to go, obviously. So just thank you for that. Again, what we saw it looked like a massive flood.
It was.
It was, yes. Yeah, so it was interesting. So again, thank you.
And you're welcome,
Yes.
and Todd has promised nice weather, so.
Right, so we're
covered.
done. We're done, yeah.
We're good. Thank you. Anyone else have questions for Jay or any of our drivers that remain here with us?
Evan Roberts, Pit Debrief. Question for all the drivers. With it being the first street course with the new hybrid system, how will the bumps and the physicality of the overall track affect the way that you regen and deploy your energy?
I mean, it's a good question. I think practice 1 is going to be busy from the driver's perspective, trying to figure the track out, trying to figure bumps out that are different compared to last year, but at the same time trying to figure out the best strategy of regen and deploy. And I think we saw this at Mid-Ohio specifically, that it's a new system, it's very unknown. We all come out there, we're trying different things, but I think ultimately every single car on the grid was using the same method, pretty much. And I think we're going to see a similar thing, but I think a street circuit also opens up the opportunity and the possibility of drivers using the energy deployment in different areas. And as we know, it's the most beneficial in slow speed corners, and we have a lot of those around street circuits. So I think you'll be able to find and gain a lot of lap time if you can do it in certain corners that aren't available or able to do, I should say.
Yeah, I think also the biggest thing with the bumps and the brake zones, we haven't had that with the hybrid yet. So drivers have done a lot of testing. I mean, the only track that kind of comes close to that is Sebring, where you have bumpy brake zones. But with brake regen, that brake migration changes. So that might change things up, and might be good, might be bad. So we'll figure that out on the go. But I think, I mean, the deployment strategy, what Christian said, is kind of similar. I think everybody kind of knows what is the best thing to do there. We all have simulations that work that out, but yeah, the regen, the regen methods, I think, will be the biggest thing to look out for.
Yeah, basically, as they said, I think something interesting as well with the hybrid is, I think we saw even like Will Power when he won last weekend. I believe it did something different with the hybrid usage that helped him extend and go longer than everybody else. So there's some things that for sure we're still trying to learn and understand, but things that can affect like fuel mileage and in races where you're on the limit of trying to do an overcut or doing one less stop. It's something that it can come into play as well, kind of fuel mileage stuff. So
One more call for any questions for our drivers that remain here with us, or Jay or Jeff, the drivers, all that have been visiting with us will be here for a little time afterwards if you want to join in a scrum or try to get some one-on-one time with them as well. No other questions, so we'll wrap it up and say that we are here tomorrow. Gates open at 8:30 for the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto. Radicals, Radical Cup Canada and Radical Cup North America hit the track at 9 a.m. tomorrow. USF 2000 series right after. 5 different series, 10 races. Headlining, of course, Sunday afternoon, the NTT IndyCar Series for 85 laps. Free Fan Friday tomorrow, free admission to the grounds. Once again, we ask that you make a donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation and add to the more than $1 million that has already been raised. Lots of events, lots to do. Just come down here and stay. Don't go back up into the city. It's just a lot easier. The drivers, as mentioned, will be here for a little bit. Whether you're coming from Bobcaygeon or Paris or the Prairies, we look forward to seeing you here at the, you like that? That was good. Here at Exhibition Place this weekend for the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto. Thanks everyone for coming. Looking forward to a great weekend. Thank you.
Is that good? That's good.
Guys, come down. Fan Friday.
Free Friday. Free.
Fan Friday.
All right. See you guys. Take care.
Hey, buddy.